In the preceding movies, we've seen really how materials can almost be all things to all people. They can define the appearance of the surface of an object. They can be in PBR form, meaning that they can update and change on the basis of lighting conditions in the scene so that they continue to look good, whether it's daytime, nighttime, interior environments, or exterior environments. In addition to this, we can use materials as skyboxes to create a surrounding scenescape. We can use them in unlit mode, and we can even use them as light sources. But one aspect of materials that we haven't seen yet is their appearance to be bumpy or rough. In the case of all the objects inside the scene that you can see here, which is part of the lightbox scene, all of our objects look completely smooth. We have smooth spheres, smooth walls, and a small smooth cube here. Now we can change this. We can create materials so that they don't look smooth. To demonstrate this, I'm going to be using this sphere here inside the scene. I'm going to drag and drop my material sphere here. This is a blank material that I've created for the purposes of defining the surface of this sphere. You'll notice on the left-hand side that I've imported a cloud texture, which is really a 512 by 512 pixel grayscale image of a bumpy cloud pattern. Now this pattern has simply been imported as a regular PNG texture, and there really isn't very much that's special about it. However, the image data that is contained in this image, or indeed in any image, can be used as the pattern to define the roughness of an object's surface. And I want to show you how we can do that. I'm going to start by selecting the clouds material and duplicating it. I can do that by pressing Ctrl D or Command D on a Mac, or alternatively I can right click on the asset and choose the option Duplicate. So I'm going to select the option here and choose Command D to duplicate this object. I'm going to rename this to normal underscore clouds so that we have this object here. Notice this is completely distinct from the original. There is no connection between the two. I'm going to select the duplicate, and from the object inspector under texture type, I'm going to change that from default to normal map. A normal map is a special kind of texture that defines the roughness of objects inside the scene. Normally, normal maps will be imported with all the other textures that an artist provides you using third-party content creation tools. However, I want to show you here how Unity can take a regular image and generate a normal map from that automatically. By choosing normal map, I can move down to this section, which says simply create from grayscale. I'm going to enable that option. Effectively, what this is going to do is take a grayscale version of this image and generate a normal map from that version. I can use this setting of bumpiness to control or accelerate the effect here. So greater values are going to make this more bumpy, and smaller values are going to make this less bumpy. I'm going to put this somewhere about here. I can even choose the kind of bumpiness that we get, from sharp granular style bumpiness to a smoothie bumpiness. I'm going to choose smooth, and then scroll down to the bottom and choose apply. When I do this, you can see that the image changes dramatically. We no longer get the original grayscale version. Instead, we get a different kind of image with very specific colors in the RGB color space. Each composition or each component of color in this image defines a certain type of bumpiness and deformation for the object. To apply this to the sphere, I need to use the material. I'm going to choose Matte Sphere, and from the Inspector Properties, scroll up to the section that says Normal Map. I'm going to click on the button here to access the Select Texture swatch and select Normal Color Clouds to apply that to the object. Notice here inside the inspector, I can see that the surface of this object has changed quite dramatically. Not only has it changed here inside the preview panel, but if I zoom into the scene, you can see very carefully on this object, you can see our bumpiness pattern here permeating this object. If I select the original normal map here, and I change, for example, the bumpiness to accentuate that effect and choose apply, we're going to get a more severe kind of bumpiness. Alternatively, I can radically reduce the bumpiness and choose apply, and this will soften the effect here so that in fact we almost can't see the bumpiness at all. I'm going to increase that a little bit to perhaps here and choose apply. And here you can see that we do get some bumpiness. It's no longer as dramatic, but even from this distance, we get an indication that this surface is no longer completely smooth and it has a roughness to it. So here we can see an example of the big impact that normal maps can make. Normal maps are a great way to define microdata and microsurface detail on objects. They can be great for reproducing photorealistic materials. Normal maps, however, are not so common when creating cartoon or highly stylized art styles. You'll need to make a decision about whether normal maps are right for your materials.